Ephesians 1 and 13. In whom also, after that ye had the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that you believed, you were sealed with that Holy Spirit of promise, which is the earnest of our inheritance unto the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory. I'd like to start off by saying Barak Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Until the Redemption of the Purchased Possession. And this is a title, as you see, was here in the book of Ephesians 1 and 14. And this lesson came through the inspiration of the scriptures I was listening to earlier in the book of Genesis. In particular, Genesis, the 19th chapter, which, Lord's will, we're going to read some of that. Which pretty much, that was the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah and the other three cities, which was 5 cities altogether, and the deliverance of Lot and his family at the time. And there was a particular thing that was read in one of the verses that caught my attention and gave me the inspiration to do this lesson today. So let's get to it. Now, I just looked up the word redeem, just to start it off. And the word redeem is compensate for the faults or bad aspects of something. And the word redeem simply means to buy back. But this is good here because we've been purchased by the blood of Yahushai, and that was the compensation that we received for the faults and bad aspects of our conduct and things that we've done, in our past lives, in this life, and to this present day. Then it also says gain or regain possession of something in exchange for payment. And you cannot regain something if it was never yours. And that's key, because when you redeem something, is you're buying something back. It's a possession that you're buying back in exchange for payment. And that exchange for the payment was the blood of Yahushai. So we can regain favor or be reconciled back to the Most High Yahweh. All right. And that doesn't apply to anyone else but the Israelites. The New Testament, Gentiles, when it speaks about salvation, it's talking about the Israelite foreigners. So let's get into it. Let's start off in the book of Genesis, the 19th chapter. And we're going to start at the 15th verse. You can read the whole chapter. This is a good chapter because it goes into the wicked deeds of these individuals in Sodom and Gomorrah, which were Hamites, and the payment of what happens when you live this type of lifestyle. But in this society, it's not frowned upon. It's actually encouraged. And the scriptures say that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, but it also says that these things that happened unto Sodom and Gomorrah and the other neighboring cities were happened as an example for those that afterwards should live ungodly, which lets you know that the Heavenly Father is displeased with this. This is why they're trying to erase His word, trying to erase things like he, him, his, her, herself, things of that nature, feminine, female, woman, man, male, masculine. They're trying to get rid of that for something that is, okay, you're just, it's just, you're just this, you're just that. There's no such thing as male or female. We went to this restaurant Saturday, just before camp. We grabbed a little bite to eat for lunch. And when you went to the bathroom had 4 symbols. One male, one female, one half female, half male, and the other one was an alien. And we were just like shaking our head, just like the the newer generation and how they're being programmed and how they go along with that, you know? And this whole system that's being set up is mainly catered to the younger people that have no clue of what's really going on, you know? And this is why what they're doing is slowly and systematically they're programming people's minds to accept this new system that's being put in place, which ultimately will be the MOTB, you know, and the which is the CHIP. All right, so let's get into it. Genesis 19:15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot. So when the morning arose, it says that the angels what? They hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife. It says, and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. So this is akin today. This was something that happened actually physical back then. And the warning from the angels was for them to leave this place because it was about to be destroyed. And they physically left. Now, in today's terms, we're getting the warnings from the Lord through the men of the Lord, which are the prophets, that are telling us that these things are about to happen that were written a long time ago. And the ones that take heed are preparing themselves for this calamitous time, or these calamitous times that are coming. But the ones that are not listening are not being prepared. So they're not being established, so to speak, you know, with the mindset of things that are coming. So when it comes upon them, even though they've been told, it's going to come upon them unawares. It says, and while he lingered, see, because he was kind of lollygagging, Lot was lollygagging there, you know, it says the men laid hold upon his hand. So the angels grabbed him, and upon the hand of his wife and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. See, so the Lord was being merciful. So keep that in mind, because the Lord is all powerful. Yahweh is all powerful. His angels are all powerful through the power of Yahweh, right? By Hashem Yahushai. But he was being merciful and holding back before he actually brought the hammer down on those devils. And he really wanted to just take them out, you know, but he waited, had mercy on Lot and his family, even though his wife ended up looking back. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. So they pretty much, you know, whisked him out, you know, of the cities. Come on, get to stepping, man. You know, get up into the mountains. It says, and it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. Now, one thing that was heavy, the elder Apostle Tahar brought out, was how the reason why he told them not to look back was because they had a force field behind them, but the force field wasn't in front of them. So if anyone turned around, that force field that was behind them protected them from that radiation and that fire, you know, would have not protected them had they been facing the destruction, you know. But the point here, it said, escape for thy life. Now let's look up this word escape real quick, and let's get this other precept. Let me go back. Escape, the word is malat. Malat. To slip away, escape, deliver. See, save, be delivered. So pretty much the angels made a way for them to be delivered and get out of there. And we know this time is going to be more spectacular, you know, than any other deliverance of Israel ever, you know. So pretty much we get the point. It means to escape, to get out. So when we go to Luke 21 and 34, it says, and take heed to yourselves. See, and taking heed is very important, because the scriptures say to receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. And that's the taking heed part, because this time it's not going to be by fleeing physically out of any city, because this is going to be a worldwide event and there's going to be destruction everywhere, but the main destruction is going to be upon America, Babylon the Great, the land of Israel, and other parts. So it's not going to be anywhere you can flee. This whole system that's being set up is a worldwide system. So there's nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide, baby. Inside joke. It says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be what? Overcharged. Because we're in the flesh, so we go off. When we read about the 144,000, it says that there was no guile found in what? In their mouths. And this is why the Lord is coming to redeem us. And one of the things he's coming to redeem us from is sin and iniquity, which is what? Fed and nourished by this flesh. And this flesh has to be changed. It says, at least you be overcharged with surfeiting, drunkenness, and cares of this life. Because this is what the majority, we're not even dealing with the other nations. We're dealing with Jake in general. The majority of Jake out there, they're consumed with surfeiting, drunkenness, and cares of this life. And so that they come upon you what? Unawares. Meaning it sneaks up on you like a thief in the night. Because Yahweh Shai said he's going to come upon this place like a thief in the night. But upon the ones that are awoke, so to speak, can't even use that word because they, these devils and destroyed everything, every word and phrase that you try to use, they fucking destroy. But anyways, the ones that have their eyes open, they will not get caught up into this. 1 Thessalonians 5:4, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. See, ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Because the ones that are asleep are the ones that don't have this truth. And the thing about it is, as they're watching, not watching the prophecies, but looking or contributing, I guess for lack of better words, in this society, they're being constantly programmed. So they're being what? They're becoming drunk with the affairs of this life. But the Apostle Paul said, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Meaning what? Be, not drunken in our minds with the cares of this life and the, affairs and the daily routine, so to speak, of this place. So, and you can read on more. I just wanted to make the point. So it says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. So let's look up this word unawares real quick. The word there is ahivnidios, unexpected, sudden, unforeseen. You see? So something that comes upon and broadsides you. When you get broadsided, you don't see it coming. So most jakes out here are not going to see this thing coming, because although they're being told, they're not listening. For as a snare or a trap shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of what? The whole earth. So this is going to come on unawares on those that are on the face of the whole earth, which the word there is gay or gi, which is earth. It's another way of saying the whole earth. The earth, the planet. Another one is oikumene. All right. So this is going to come as a trap upon the whole world, because what these devils are doing is they're setting their traps in place. And right in the midst of everybody, they're laying the traps right there. But most jakes don't see what's coming. And then you have those that are supposed to be watchmen, but they're not giving them the proper warnings that they need of these things that are coming. They're actually helping to, set the table. They're helping Esau set his table. They're putting the napkins in there. They're putting the knives in there. They call themselves Israelites, call themselves so-called coming against the system, but they're helping Esau prepare his table. They're helping them put the napkins and the plates and the knives and the forks and the spoons and the cups and all of that. They help him pour the wine into the cups, helping dish out Esau's plates, because they're not preparing Jake for what's coming. And it's going to come upon the whole earth. It says, watch ye therefore and pray always. These are the two ingredients. Two very important ingredients. Watching and praying. But the key is what? Always. Like Yahushua said, a man ought always to pray and not to faint. It says that you may be accounted worthy to what? To escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. You see? And the only ones that are going to be able to do that are the ones that are the purchased possession. All right? So let's look up this word escape. And the word escape is the word ekfugo. Ekfugo. All right? Almost sounds like a word, but I can't make it out. Ekfugo. To flee out of, flee away, to seek safely in flight, to escape. Right, because the elect, they're going to be in the midst of it. But the Lord is going to make a way to escape. Psalms 124 and 7. Straight to the point. Our soul is escaped. Wow, I didn't even know the word escape was there. As a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The fowlers are bird catchers. In this case, is a representation of Esau. The snare is the system that's being, the trap is being laid in front of everybody. And the thing is, it's encircling everyone. And it's being done in a way that you are going to be forced to partake in it, because the way that they're setting the system up of buying and selling, which is the MOTB, which is the CHIP, is predicated on this digital system. So everybody is in the midst of this right now. So it says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken. How is the snare broken? By the words of the Most High, the anointing. It says, and we are what? Escaped. So we're going to be in the midst of it. But the Lord said that when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Then it goes on to say, our help is in the name of the Lord. Because the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. And you have groups out there still, IUIC. See, I knew it. I knew it. That are making light of the name of the Lord. Like it's not important to know the name of the Lord. You can call him whatever you want to call him. Yo plate yogurt. Keep playing. Who made heaven and earth. So our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. So, going back to Luke, it says, watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. So now let's go back to Genesis 19 and 18. Matter of fact, let's read 17 again. And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee. Yeah, this is a life or death situation. Neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And escaping to the mountain was what? For a refuge. In this case, the mountain represents Yahushua's chariot that he's coming to redeem the elect with or in. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. Right, so he wanted to go somewhere where there was a city. He didn't want to go to a mountain where there was nothing there. He didn't know if he was going to be attacked by ravenous, beasts or whatever the case may be. So he asked to go to a city that was called Zoar, which was one of the cities that was actually destroyed. And the reason why the angel told him to go to the mountain, because that devastation was going to be so bad, it was even going to get Zoar. But they shielded him because they were making haste. That's the point. Because the judgment was hot, and it was ready to go. All they had to do was open the floodgates of destruction, and that place would have been gone. But they had to wait until this righteous man and his family got out of harm's way. And that's the point, or the whole point of the lesson. It says, and he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I would not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. So the angel told him, and when Alexander Scourby read this part, it hit me like a ton of bricks. He told him, haste thee. First he told him to haste. Then he said, escape thither. Then he told him to escape. And then he told him, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. In other words, till you're out of harm's way. So let's go from there. I got a couple of precepts on that. Let's go first and foremost to, matter of fact, let's look up this word haste real quick here in the Old Testament. The word there is mahar, which means speed or make speed. To hasten, be hurried, right? Be anxious, moving quickly and swiftly. So let's go to Isaiah 51. We're going to read a couple of verses here. Isaiah 51 and 12. Excuse me, Salaki, for that. It says, I, even I am he that comforteth you. Who art thou that thou shouldest be what? Afraid of a man that shall die. Because, Esau is in the power seat, but the Lord is going to take him out. And of the Son of Man, which shall be made as grass. And forgettest the Lord thy Maker, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that have stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of what? The fury of the oppressor. And right now the fury of the oppressor is on Esau. This is why it says that your adversary as a roaring lion, looking whom he may devour. It also says that, the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So these devils got everything in place. And right now, as we speak, they're working and they're weaving it in place to get this whole digital system up and going. These were the last, some of the last bit of meetings that they had in Davos to pretty much cement the first stages of going digital. It says, as if he were ready to destroy, right? Because he has no power of himself. The power that he possesses of life and death belongs to the Most High, because the Most High belongs to issues of death. And where is the fury of the oppressor? Because they're going to huff and they're going to puff, but the Lord's going to blow them down. Just like Nebuchadnezzar got mad and he turned the fire up in their furnace and he threw the 3 holy children in there. And what happened? Nothing happened to them. In his mind, he's like, I'm going to burn them up. So much so that he told them to heat up the oven 7 times more than they were supposed to be. So the strong men in his kingdom, warriors, he told them, look, grab these men and throw them in the fire. And as they were doing that, they got slain by those same mighty men got slain by that fire. And these 3 holy children, which Yahushua came in there, the 4th one, they weren't touched. They weren't, not so much as a thread of their clothing was touched. They didn't get any singe marks on them. They didn't, none of their whiskers got singed. By whiskers. Inside joke. They didn't even have the smell of smoke on them. So how powerful is that? So they can't do shit unless the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai allows them to. And this is the point here. The captive exile, which is us. We're exiled from our land and we're in captivity. Not as bad as we had it before, going back to 1492 to the present, to when so-called slavery ended, but we're still in captivity. So the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed. See? So the scripture speaks about haste, speaks about being delivered, speaks about desiring to be delivered from here. Not just sitting around, kicking around like that clown from ISUPK said, when you go to jail, you're not looking for your release date. Say what? All Jake does most Jakes that are in jail, unless they're in there for life, all they talk about is the day they're going to be delivered out or leave out of that place. But these guys, they're comfortable. They're settled on their lees. He's like that fat rat in a cheese factory on a rocking chair, eating Jarlsberg cheese and sipping that rot gut. Talking shit. If I say John the Baptist is a plate of fish, pass me the hot sauce. They're not looking for the day of the Lord. They're not looking to be delivered. They're looking to be right here in this place because they done settled like those leaves at the bottom and they don't want to be disturbed. But that's all right because the Lord's going to bring that disturbance. It says, the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed and that he should not die in the pit, because this is a pit. This whole system is a pit. And we don't want to die in this pit. We want to be delivered. Nor that his bread should fail. Why? Because the way that they're setting this thing up, there's going to be famine. There's going to be hunger for those that do not partake. This is why the Lord said, my servants shall eat. It says, but I am the Lord thy power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that divided the sea, whose waves roared. The Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai of hosts is his name. And I have put my words in thy mouth. Listen good. I have put my words in thy mouth. When Lot left, what happened? It said, don't look back. Why? Because there was a force field on them. Now the force field is what? The word. And I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand. That's why it says in Psalms 91:1, it says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High. What is the secret place of the Most High? The mysteries of this truth. It says, shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty and under the protection. Because the word is what's going to protect the elect from what's coming. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Because at the end of the day, that's all we got. It's prayer and hope. And in the meantime, we're watching. So going back, it says Isaiah 51:16, and I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of mine hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people. Because it's going to be reestablished upon the earth who the Lord's people are, because there's a lot of phony, fake frauds out there, that have been perpetrating the fraud, often imitated, but never duplicated. Inside joke. But it's true. That's why Esau hurts himself when he tries to imitate Jake. And you could tell when there's a white-looking individual that got it. He ain't practiced it. He just got it because he's an Israelite that looks like a so-called, white person. Esau got no salt. Not at all. Not an ounce, not a pinch, not a punch. All right, so let's go from there. Let's go to the next precept. Let's go to Zechariah. Because we're speaking about what? The words of the Lord's mouth, covering it in the shadow, right? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 9. And this is just something that I just thought about, earlier. It says deliverance of Judah and Ephraim. So it says Zechariah 9:11. 911, which is what? Emergency. I mean, it's corny, but I just thought of it, which that's help. Emergency is help. It says, as for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, dealing with Yahushai, shedding his blood, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. You see? So the Lord is, that blood that he shed, this is the ticket to get out of here. And that is the main story of the gospel, is the shedding of Yahushai's blood to redeem Israel. But in this time, only the elect will be delivered. That is the gospel of the good news, or the evangelion, or evangelion. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. So this is the redemption, the blood of Yahushai, that sent us out, or is going to send us out of the pit. And Lord's will, we be the elect. All right. Now let's go from there. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 14. And let's go to the, spare with me 1 second. Let's go to the 13th verse. Excuse me. Now therefore set thine house in order, the angel of the Lord speaking to Ezra, and reprove thy people. That's what we're doing. We're reproving Jake. Comfort such of them as be in trouble. Right. Scripture speak about, lifting up the feeble hands and the knees, It says, and now renounce corruption. And this is what we've done to the best of our ability, as best as we can. This is why we keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, but we know we can't keep it perfectly because we're still going to go off. The day we stop going off is the day when Yahushua delivers us and changes us. As long as we're in this flesh, we're going to go off. It says, let go from the what? Mortal thoughts. Because this is what? This is the spirit. This is the flesh pressing down on the spirit. Cast away the burdens of man, which is what? Worrying, doubt, and all of those things that rob us, of that spiritual growth. Put off now the weak nature, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we have to put off the weak nature, which is the flesh, by the changing of our mind and the way that the Lord gave us to change our minds, to elevate our understanding above, so that we know how to handle the flesh, and how to deal with it, It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times, because they're evil. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. All right. It says, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age. Right. And then we're at the point where the earth is the weakest. As much technology and as much as it has advanced, it's weak. And as the saying goes, good times make weak men. These men out here are through, finished. The testosterone levels are real low. This place is through. It says, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So this is talking about what? About 1,500 years ago or so? No, it's like about 2,500 years ago. So how much more now in these times? For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. And look, word is there again. Hasteth. So the vision is hastened to come, which thou hast seen. And because even Ezra asked the Lord, he said, is there more to come that it was past, or is there more past than than is to come? And he pretty much was breaking it down to him that pretty much, majority of stuff had already passed at this point. But now we're at the point where damn near everything is past, and now we're at the very final stages of these couple of prophecies being fulfilled before the the destruction and the deliverance of the nation of Israel, of the elect. So let's go from there. Let's go to the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and verse 10. We're going to just jump to the 10th verse. A new heaven, a new earth. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, which we read about that, into which the heavens shall pass away with great noise. The heavens is talking about the rulerships of the planet, and the great noise is talking about the destruction of the missiles / the lasers from the chariots. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. It means exactly what it say. The elements, everything is made out of elements. They're going to melt with fervent heat, especially here in America. Babylon the Great. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Right. In other words, Esau's whole structure is going to be taken down. It says, seeing then that all these things, and it's funny because the very blessing of the sword that he received, these missiles, to puff at his enemies, is the same thing that the Lord is going to use to judge him. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Right. So we're supposed to be speaking about what we're speaking about right now, which is the destruction of America, the destruction of this place, the bringing down of this wicked system, this wicked empire, the Israelites being established back on the earth. It's supposed to be warning Jake about, the MOTB, which is the C-HIP, which they're putting in place right before their eyes. They're blocking them off, and we're supposed to let them know, look, this is what's going to go down. They're going to bring in a new system, and that new system that they're going to bring in, they want to implant people with this C-HIP, and if you take that, guess what? You will be destroyed. And here's the scriptural proof to prove that. Boom. And they, whether they hear or whether they will forbear, yet shall they know that a prophet has been among them. So regardless of if they listen or not, it doesn't matter. The Lord is going to do his thing. That's why it says, let not the incredulity of them trouble you. Because, damn, man, no matter how I break it down, man, they don't listen. They don't accept it. They can't see it. Well, that's on them. We, on the other hand, as far as us in our house, we're going to serve the Lord. So it says, looking for and what? And hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High. So we're supposed to be looking forward to and hastening the day. Not sitting back dawdling and say, the Lord come when he come. And you know why people say that? You know why these other camps say that? Because they're comfortable. They ain't catching no hell. Because when you catch in hell, you want deliverance. Captive, exile, hasten that he may be loose, and that he should not die in the pit. They're obviously in a good condition, in a comfortable spot for them not to be worried about what's coming. The time of Jacob's trouble, that's gay. I mean, what demon in hell would possess you to say some bullshit like that? That little pint-sized runt. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Again, it's being repeated again because this is the second death. The first death was the flood, the water. The Lord gave, the promise that he would not destroy the world again by water. He gave a covenant, a sign, a symbol, a token, which is the rainbow. And what do these devils do? They corrupt a beautiful heavenly emblem and they turn it into some degenerate fucking bullshit. The Most High gonna fuck you up just for that, man. The rainbow is a beautiful symbol, and you fucking distorted, you fucking, turned it into some abominable thing. It says, and if you was to wear something like that, which nothing wrong with it, but in this society, you can't do that. Because that's a covenant of the Lord. But in this society, if you wear anything that resembles that, they're going to look at you, is he happy? Is he one of the happy guys? Motherfuckers. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. That's right. And the sooner this fucking place goes down, the better. Because once this place goes down, then the kingdom is going to be established. That's why Yahweh Shai said, watch as well as pray. And we see this devil going down. And everything is being set up into place. This major prophecy that's unraveling and unfolding right before everybody's eyes, and some can't see it, the MOTB, which is a CHIP, that is a very important prophecy, because once that gets going, then the Lord is going to make everything move quicker. It says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. Yeah. And in the meantime, watching, praying, and hastening for the day. Okay. So now let's go from there. You know what? I ended up reading the whole 8 to the 18th verse. I was supposed to go back here. That's all right. Now let's go to the next one. Matter of fact, let's read this again for the 16th verse. 2 Ezra 14:16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. Right, and building on the word hasten, let's go to the book of Exodus. And dealing with the book of Exodus chapter 12, which is the Passover. The Passover will be coming up very soon, next month, probably about another 3 weeks or so. We'll be putting up maybe about a week before the Passover, we'll be putting it up. It's going to be, in the beginning of March. So just keep your eye out for it. Lord's will, like the last week in February or so, we'll put up the date for the Passover, or the dates for the Passover. All right, so you can know when to keep it. Oh, and by the way, there's some individual out there, I don't know how the fuck they got the calendar, because the calendar was only sent to the heads of Great Millstone. And some individual put it out on Instagram, and some other individual got it that's not even in the camp. And we're hot on your trail, okay, troop? We're hot on your trail, okay? All right, and when we find you, you will be busted. Because that's out of fucking order, man. It's out of fucking order. And I want to know how the fuck this guy got the calendar when he wasn't supposed to have the calendar. Only the heads are supposed to have the calendar. So we got to question the heads out there. What's going on with you camp heads? Who the fuck leaked that out? That's out of fucking order. You already know what the deal is. When you get the calendar, it's only for the heads. And then you give out the dates when needed. So how the fuck did this guy get the calendar, which you have a picture of him? How did he get the calendar to put it up on Instagram, and then some other individual that is watching at the camp happened to get the calendar? We're going to get down to the bottom of it. Best believe it. So let's go Exodus chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, this is Yahushai. He was the angel of death that came through, that came through Egypt and slew all the firstborn males. All the firstborn males, of course, of humans and beasts. In everyone's house, in every one of the Egyptians' house that were not Israelites, there was somebody dead. So that's a lot of somebodies. Exodus 12 and 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, meaning all of the rulers, the ones in prominent position, even them of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And the Lord is about to do the same thing now, but this time it ain't just going to be the firstborn in modern day Egypt. It's going to be everyone that's on the soils of America will not make it. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. Right. And the key is what? The blood. Which was what? The blood of the lamb. So what was the what is the blood of the Lamb now? Yahushai, his blood. This was what? A form of protection from the destruction, from the angel of destruction. And today the blood on the door lintels is what? It's talking about this truth. When we go to 1 John 5 and 8, it says, and there are three that bear witness in the earth, the spirit, which is the word, and the water, which is the word, and the blood, which is the word. And these three agree in one. So just like in Exodus, you had the actual blood of an actual lamb on the lintel post, on the doorpost, so that you and your household could be protected. Today, that is Yahushua's blood. And it's in the minds of Israel, of the elect. Ezekiel 9 and 4, it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And if you're not crying and sighing for the things that you see going on in the world today, then chances are you're not a part of the elect. Because even Jake out there in the world that doesn't know about Israel, they're disturbed about a lot of shit that's going on. And chances are that they might just be part of the elect. They just haven't been woken up yet, so to speak. So when we look at the word mark, the word there is thawa. We go straight to the point. Mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. So today the doors or the lintels of the posts are our minds. And the blood, which is Yahushua's blood, that is the exemption from the destruction that's coming. So Exodus 12:13, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, when the angels come through and sees the blood, this angel was Yahushua. Yahushua is coming back again. I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. All right. Now let's go from there to the book of Revelation 7, which is one of the scriptures I thought about when I heard Alexander Scurby read Genesis 19 and 22. Revelation 7 and 1. And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel. What's the wind? The destruction. That nuclear wind. So you have four actual angels that the Lord set up on the earth from old times that are holding back these four winds or this destruction from coming upon the world. And it says that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree, so that nothing can go down that's going to bring the end of this society, the end of this age, right? And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. The seal of the living power is the same as the mark or the thawa in Ezekiel 9 and 4. It says, of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So when the angel, when the angel them, inside joke, told Lot this, hasty, quickly get out of here, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. In other words, so you're safe. So that's why the angels are holding back the four winds, until the servants of the Lord are sealed in their foreheads. Because the foreheads is where our minds is at. And what is this, the sealing part? What's doing the sealing? Well, of course, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But what is the seal or the stamp of approval is this truth. James 1:21. It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness. Right. Superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. So let's look up this word sealed. The word there is sphragizo, means to set a seal upon, mark with a seal, to seal, for security from Satan. In order to mark a person or a thing, to set a mark upon by the impress of a seal or stamp. So that's the main point. To be sealed up, protected. Now, when we go to James 1:21, we look up the word engrafted. You have the word emphytos. Emphytos. Inborn, implanted by nature, implanted by others, instruction. Right, so what is that instruction that's implanted? The truth. That's inside of Israel. That's the spiritual mark of the Most High, the Thawah, which is synonymous with the word seal. All right, but Esau's mark is physical, which is that sea hip. So going back to Genesis 19 and 22, I'm sorry, no, wow. You know what? I had to do that for another lesson because I wanted to read that chapter. It's not long, but let me just get this one precept here, and then we'll end it with Genesis 19, because I got another precept I wanted to go to in Psalms, but I think I'm gonna have to do a separate lesson for that. Acts 27 and 22. Now this is when the Apostle Paul was on his way to Rome to appeal to Caesar, and he told the captain of the guard or whatever he was, not the captain, but the guy that was underneath him, that was watching over. He told him, look, we shouldn't leave here because the storm was coming in, it's going to be really bad. And then they listened to the Apostle Paul. So then the ship got caught in a bad situation. Acts 27:22. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the angel of the Lord, the angel them, whose I am and whom I serve. So this is what they call the guardian angel. So this was the Apostle Paul's guardian angel. For there stood by me this night the angel of the Most High, whose I am and whom I serve, saying, fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar, and lo, the Most High hath given thee all them that sail with thee. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe the Most High that it shall be even as it was told me. That's right. So this is why, matter of fact, I read the main verse in the Psalms 34, which I was going to read the whole thing, but Psalms 34:7, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. Okay, so let's go back to Genesis 19 and 22. Hasty, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. It says, therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities, that which grew upon the ground. And that was what? After Lot and his family escaped to safety. But his wife looked back from behind him because they had great substance, and she didn't want to leave that substance. And she became a pillar of salt. She became dehydrated because there was no force field in front of her when she turned around. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain. And behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And that's how America is going to go up. So this is like a prelude to the destruction of Babylon the Great. Okay? He saw it physically, and the people are going to see it physically around the world, but through the satellites. And it came to pass when the Most High destroyed the cities of the plain that the Most High remembered Abraham. And what did he remember Abraham for? The prayer. Oh, Lord, if there be 50 righteous, if there be 45 righteous, if there be 40 righteous, if there be 10 righteous, will you destroy all of them, with all the people with them? And why did he do it? for his nephew Lot. And that the Most High remembered Abraham. What did he remember? His prayer, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. So this proves that Abraham was not praying for those Sodomites. He was just saying that for the Lord to have mercy upon Lot, his nephew, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in which Lot dwelt. And that's the point. Because you have some individuals that, well, Abraham prayed for the Sodomites, or however it's written in the Apocrypha. Nah, this is pretty much dealing with, Abraham praying for Lot. That's why he wanted the Lord to spare that place, not because of them filthy heathens. All right, so with that, this has been Until the Redemption of the Purchased Possession. I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Shalom to the elect, and Lord's will to the next one. Shalom.